You've been lied to about the Nazi war machine. While Hollywood shows you tiger tanks crushing everything in their path, here's what really pulled Hitler's army across Europe. Horses. 1.5 million horses. When winter hit Russia in 1941, those horses started dying. 750,000 dead in 4 months. What came next wasn't just military collapse. German soldiers fought each other with bayonets over frozen horse meat. Some units went darker when the horses ran out. This is the story they never told you. The Nazi propaganda machine worked overtime to hide one fact. Their mechanized army ran on hay and horseshoes. Joseph Goebbels ordered something specific in 1940. Keep horses out of every propaganda photo. Film only the 16 mechanized divisions. Hide the other 87 divisions that moved by horse. The cameramen got their orders. No horses in frame. Here's what Goebbels buried. Hitler's 1941 army used more horses than Kaiser Wilhelm's 1914 army. The Wehrmacht took 625,000 horses into Russia. Napoleon took 180,000. General Franz Halder wrote in his diary on July 23, 1941, "We are demotorizing. This is catastrophic." He begged for trucks. Berlin sent him more horses. Germany didn't have oil for trucks, but they had millions of horses from conquered farms. Therefore, the Blitzkrieg became a horse-drawn army with a motorized face for the cameras. Out of 103 German divisions in 1941, only 16 had motors. The math was simple. 84% of the Wehrmacht walked or rode horses. On August 15, 1941, a Wehrmacht photographer was court-martialed. His crime? He sent photos to a Berlin newspaper showing German artillery being pulled by horses through Russian mud. The photos never ran. The photographer disappeared into a penal battalion. The world saw panzers. The reality was different. Each German infantry division needed 5,000 horses. Just one division. Those horses ate 20 tons of food every single day. Which brings us to the killer question. What happens when you drag a horse army into a Russian winter? Math destroyed the German army before bullets did. Each horse needed 20 pounds of feed daily, 30 gallons of water. Multiply that by 625,000 horses. That's 12.5 million pounds of feed every single day. German logistics officers discovered something in July 1941 that made them panic. Russian grass was different from German grass. Their horses couldn't digest it. Horses started dying from diarrhea before they saw combat. The Germans had to ship hay from France to Russia by train. But those same trains were supposed to carry ammunition. Therefore, commanders faced a choice: feed horses or arm soldiers. November 1941. Temperature hits -10 Celsius. Horses start dying. Not slowly, fast. At -20, they died overnight. At -40, they died in hours. General Heinz Guderian, the Panzer genius, sent this message on November 17th. "My tanks are stopped, not by Russians, by lack of horse-drawn supplies." December 3, 1941. A German supply officer named Major Friedrich Hossbach made a calculation. He needed more trains to feed horses than to feed his entire division of men. He wrote, "The horses are eating the army to death." He requested permission to shoot half his horses. Berlin said no. By December, desperate Germans fed their horses sawdust mixed with molasses. Then they tore straw roofs off Russian houses. Then they boiled leather harnesses into soup for horses. 6,000 horses died every day in December 1941. Their bodies froze solid in minutes. The Wehrmacht discovered they weren't fighting Russians anymore. They were fighting physics, and physics was winning. December 15th, 1941, outside Moscow. The temperature hit -42 degrees. Private Wilhelm Lubeck wrote in his diary, "The horses are dead." frozen solid. We tried to cut meat with axes. The axes shattered. We used grenades. That's not a metaphor. German soldiers threw live grenades at frozen horse carcasses to blast them into edible chunks. The explosion sent frozen horse meat flying like shrapnel. But there were more soldiers than dead horses. Therefore, the fighting started. The first documented murder over horse meat, December 15th, outside Klin. 2 German infantrymen bayoneted a third who tried to take a frozen horse leg they'd claimed. The military police didn't arrest anyone. They were eating horse meat too. December 20th, 1941. The 4th Panzer Division created an official horse meat distribution schedule. Officers posted armed guards on dead horses, not to protect them from Russians, to protect them from other German units. The schedule listed which unit could harvest which horse on which day. Violators would be shot. Corporal Fritz Farnbacher wrote home, "We suck frozen horse blood like candy. It has iron. It keeps us alive." Some units found a darker solution. They kept dying horses alive as walking meat lockers. They'd cut steaks from living horses, then bandage them up to keep the meat fresh. A horse could survive 5 or 6 cuttings before it collapsed. January 1942. Sergeant Klaus Becker's diary. I saw men eating horse eyes raw. They said the fluid inside hadn't frozen. They fought over who got the eyes. This wasn't an army anymore. These were starving animals in uniform, descending into madness. But some units had no horses left to fight over. The 2nd Army Corps got trapped at Demyansk in January 1942. Surrounded, cut off, 95,000 men. They ate all their horses in 14 days. Then they ate leather boots, then bark from trees. Then the missing started. Soviet intelligence officer Captain Mikhail Volkov found the first evidence on February 8, 1942. His unit captured an abandoned German position. In the kitchen, they found human bones with teeth marks, cut marks from knives. A human skull cracked open to get at the brain. February 15, 1942. A German field kitchen at Demyansk. Soviet forces photographed what they found inside, human remains being prepared for consumption. A partial torso in a cooking pot. The photos were classified until 1991. Stalin didn't want the world to know how bad it got. The Wehrmacht held 42 courts-martial for survival cannibalism between January and March 1942. Every record was burned in 1944 on direct orders from Berlin. General Walter von Brockdorff-Ahlefeldt commanded at Demyansk. His private report used the phrase, "extreme survival measures." He never specified what that meant. He didn't have to. A survivor, who refused to give his name, testified in 1962. "We drew lots. The loser walked into the forest. He didn't come back. We didn't ask questions. We survived 3 more days." March 1942. The Demyansk pocket held for 60 days. When German relief forces finally broke through, they found 31,000 men still alive. No one asked what happened to the missing 64,000. No one asked what the survivors ate for 2 months with no supplies. The survivors never talked about it, ever. While Germans starved in their pockets, Soviet cavalry units made a discovery. The Wehrmacht without horses couldn't move, at all. December 7th, 1941. Musino village near Moscow. A German artillery regiment sat helpless. Their horses died overnight at -30. Their 2-ton guns might as well have been anchored in concrete. The Soviet 3rd Cavalry Corps found them at dawn. Cossacks. Men the Germans called medieval relics. The Cossacks charged with sabers. The German artillerymen tried to turn their guns by hand, 5 men pushing a 2-ton cannon. They managed to rotate one gun 15 degrees before the Cossacks reached them. The sabers came down. The entire regiment died in 20 minutes. 1,500 men, dead, because they had no horses. Captain Ivan Petrov led a Cossack squadron. Their big guns pointed at nothing. We rode between them. They had rifles but couldn't run. We cut them down like wheat. This scene repeated across the front. Soviet cavalry killed 15,000 immobilized German support troops in 6 weeks. Anti-tank guns that needed horses to move became metal coffins for their crews. Colonel Hans Meyer Welker survived a Cossack attack on January 3, 1942. They came from nowhere. Our guns were frozen in place. Men tried to push cannons with their hands. The horses we mocked as obsolete killed us with swords. The Wehrmacht learned something that winter. A paralyzed modern army dies faster than a mobile ancient one. But the dead horses left one final curse. 750,000 horse corpses littered the Eastern Front by spring 1942. When the snow melted, they rotted. The contamination spread everywhere. Dead horses poisoned water sources for 50 miles around. Dysentery hit both armies. Typhus followed. The German 6th Army lost 9,000 men to disease in April 1942 alone. Not combat. Disease from dead horses. Major Hans Müller, medical officer, 4th Panzer. The smell reached us 5 miles away. Clouds of flies so thick they blocked the sun. Men vomited from the stench alone. The Wehrmacht tried burning the carcasses. Too many. They tried mass graves. The ground was still frozen. They tried chemicals. They didn't have enough. Spring 1942 became a biological hellscape. Horses that died in winter killed more Germans in spring through disease than Soviet bullets did. Hitler promised glory. He delivered apocalypse. The myth was beautiful. Columns of tanks, modern warfare, mechanical precision. The reality was hideous. Frozen horses, starving soldiers, cannibalism, and massacre. 750,000 horses died in one winter. Those deaths cascaded into hell. Germans fought Germans over frozen meat. Some ate their comrades. Immobilized units died under Cossack sabers. Disease from rotting horses killed thousands more. The Wehrmacht didn't lose because they lacked courage. They lost because they bet everything on horses in a land that killed horses. When the horses died, the army died. When the army died, the men became animals. Hitler's war machine was never real. It was propaganda painted over horseshit. And when winter came, the paint peeled off, revealing desperate men dying beside their horses, victims of their leaders' lies about an army that never existed. The German soldiers who invaded Russia in 1941 expected to ride to victory. Instead, they ate their rides. Then they ate each other. If you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe for more fascinating historical deep dives every week. Thanks for watching.